Welcome to Giant Ability TV.
The coupists in the Nigeria Republic are far better and have more credibility than Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. The military junta in the Nigeria Republic did not pretend to be civilians and did not claim to be innocent before the world. They took over power and ousted the constitutionally elected president, Mohamed Bazoum, and were able to get the support of the citizens of that country. Tinubu, disguising as a constitutionally elected president of Nigeria and who claims to double up as the chairman of the ECOWAS, is only deceiving himself, playing the role not well deserved. President Bazoum of Nigeria Republic and all the presidents of the ECOWAS member countries, both civilian and military, have better standing than Tinubu, who is awaiting the final verdict of the Election Petition Tribunal that would sack him from the office that he is temporarily occupying. There is a popular saying, which also is a questionable advice, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not take to heart, which says, when taking a country, the conqueror must be careful to commit all his cruelty at once to avoid being obliged to be cruel every day. Niccolo Michael Villi. From the very first day that Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave his inaugural speech, he began to commit blunders. Recall how he declared that the fuel subsidy has gone, without taking time to consider what will be the consequences of his pronouncement. Ordinarily, one will expect him to have considered how the subsidy removal would negatively impact on the lives of Nigerians, and to make adequate preparations regarding what sort of palliative would be provided to mitigate the anticipated pains that Nigerians will have to go through. For Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he chose to put the cart before the horse, an action that is an invitation for regret. As if that was not enough, recall how he led the presidents of the member countries of ECOWAS into committing blunders with regard to the military coup d'etat in Nigeria Republic, rather than starting the effort to get the military junta retracted amicably. The ECOWAS issued a 7-day ultimatum and with a threat to invade Nigeria Republic militarily to restore a constitutional order and the deposed president if after 7 days the junta failed to comply. When that attempt failed, the ECOWAS leadership had no choice but to revert to seeking a window of diplomacy with the junta that they had earlier threatened. The latest of blunders is in the constitution of the Executive Council of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima administration, which is nothing other than a true reflection of an army of state capture. What we see going on is like a child's play. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything to consolidate his stolen mandate and to gain legitimacy for a government that lacks it, and which as it is has it not in view by any fringe of imagination. This is what people get from a government that forces itself on the people, and which is not a true representative of the will of the people. Looking at the makeup of the ministerial list of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the only source of joy to well-meaning and perceptive Nigerians is that the list does not comprise people of integrity and who are capable of leading the country as president tomorrow, like Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the presidential candidate of New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP), who heeded our advice not to romance with Bola Ahmed Tinubu and become despicable. Had people like him allowed themselves to make it into the list of the apologetic and conscienceless Nigerians like Nyesom Wike, Festus Keyamo, Boshun Tijani, and others like them,
I apologize. The only two things I just need to say before I go, because we are before the world, one or two things. One is that regarding that program, because when Nigerians hear a figure, their ears go up. Hey, one big figure has been mentioned. No. Regarding that program, every single payment, and I insisted to the past president that it must come from the central bank directly to the accounts of the people who were nominated to receive those funds. And so we as ministers, both ministers in the ministry and the head of the agency at that time that we supervised, never saw one kobo. It was straight, all we needed to do was to generate the list and pass to the CBN. And the CBN paid directly from the CBN account to those individual accounts. Till today, as I see, we did not see nothing even came to the account of that agency.
The country Nigeria would have been doomed and without any hope of getting out of the political, social, and economic quagmire that the country has been plunged into since the last 8 years of APC under the former dictator Muhammadu Buhari. The Nigerian Judiciary is making itself to be seen as a toothless bulldog and an organization that is just a shadow of its original self. With this kind of judicial setting beginning from the NJC that has just received a bribe of above 30 billion naira from Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the office of the Chief Justice himself, the man who speaks from the two sides of his mouth and who is a dealer in injustice himself, and to the justices who make up the Election Petition Tribunal, there is no gainsaying the fact that rather than being the last hope of the common man, they have reduced themselves to the killers of hope and the enemies of God and the people of Nigeria. The pertinent question that need to answer is why the delay regarding the outcomes of the February 25, 2023 presidential election case that is before them, for which they have reserved judgment for quite some time now. Are these supposedly learned personalities without knowledge, wisdom, and the fear of God Almighty? The saying that justice delayed is justice denied has lost the spirit behind what is supposed to be a dictum and a guiding principle for excellent performance in justice delivery in Nigeria. What a shame to you who are supposed to be the custodian of integrity, who have allowed yourselves to be reduced to no different from the irresponsible politicians in Nigeria, making Nyesom Wike the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC failed to score even a minimum of 25%, is to say the least ridiculous and laughable. Wike is as loose as he has always been, and words and behavior has not changed. He carelessly opened up his mouth by making threatening statements to the people of Abuja right from his first day in office, not being careful by not allowing his tongue to say what his head will pay for. Wike, as usual, always forgets to put his mind in gear before putting his tongue in action. This man needs to be careful, taking into account also that Abuja is not Port Harcourt and Tinubu is an interloper.
I don't care whom you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what we know, we must sanitize the place. I don't care. I don't look at people's eyes. I don't know how you feel. My happiness is that the people of Abuja are happy. That's all. So, my Minister of State and myself, we are going to work to make sure we achieve this, that will make people now say, yes, Abuja has returned to what it's supposed to be. So if you have a sister, if you have a brother, if you have an in-law or your uncle who is involved in these areas, please tell the person the time is up. The time is up. If they've done it for the previous years, good luck. But not under this our own period. Abuja is turning to be like a slum city. Sanitation is bad. So we cannot allow it. We cannot allow it. Sanitation, look at refuse everywhere. Those who are paying for refuse collection, what are they doing? So we must also sit down to look at differently ways of waste management or waste disposal. It is very, 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 very key. All those people who are distorted the master plan of Abuja, too bad, too bad. If you know you have built where you're not supposed to build, it will go down.
Furthermore, the latest and trending news in Nigeria and outside it now is about the possible alliance amongst the three presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of Nigeria Labour Party, His Excellency Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, the former Governor of Anambra State, and the new Nigeria National Party, NNPP, His Excellency Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the former Governor of Kano State. The purpose of this alliance is said to be on how to hijack power from the ruling APC and its presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who stole the people's mandate, as there is hope for an election rerun. This alliance, in my opinion, will only be necessary if it is geared towards correcting the injustice done to Nigerians, by the outcomes of the February 25, 2023 presidential elections. Moreover, it will be morally and socially expedient if correcting the evil of marginalization of the people of the Southeast is one of the reasons for the alliance. It is important to state also that if heads can be put under the same thinking cap and in line with the express wishes and the mandate of the Nigerian youth given to Mr. Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and his running mate, Dati Baba Ahmed Yusuf, then it will not be out of place to say that both Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso have assumed the position of statesmen who are out to right the wrongs done to the Nigerian youth in particular and Nigerians in general, and their children shall be deserving of the honor and proceeds of the seed of unity that their parents have voluntarily sowed for the sake of Nigeria. Anything other than this may not make a difference and is therefore unnecessary. On a final note, Nigerians should not take away their eyes from the ball and the goal of the birth of a new Nigeria. What we have currently with the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cohort is a counterfeit of what our dreams and aspirations are. We have dreamt by night, and now that it is daytime, we should not allow ourselves to be deceived and distracted by working out redemption and salvation with total commitment, bearing in mind that to be made into wine, we would have to be crushed, for no one drinks grapes. We have come a long way, our obedience is complete, and now is the time to punish all disobedience. The Egyptians you see today parading themselves as kings and rulers without the oil of gladness on their head, we shall see them no more. God bless Nigeria.